Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. I am Professor Rodeblock, and welcome to our Wednesday night stream. We finally get to play some Final Fantasy XIV again. It is not down for pre-patch maintenance. I updated the game last night, and we are good to go. So if you look down at the title for tonight, we are finally jumping back into game studies proper. We are talking about games as expression with the sub goal that we just hit. So we'll introduce the sub goal here in just a second, but before we do that, this stream is also playing Stream Raiders as a way to drum up engagement with you guys. And so if you guys hop over to Stream Raiders, you will see that I am just getting ready to start a battle here. And we're actually gonna, let me flip over here. Boom. Oh no, maybe not. Show up. There it goes. Now, when we streamed on Monday, we actually lost this map. And it was close. It wasn't like a blowout here. But if we take a look at what we have a giant hellhound, another giant hellhound, and I think there's some units hiding down here at the bottom that I can't actually see. See if we can zoom out even more here. No. Maybe not. I feel like when we started, there were some golems and hellhounds hiding around here. Now, if we look at the hellhounds, they evade 50% of ranged damage. We don't want that. And so we're going to be going for melee units after these guys. So we're going to start by placing units up in this corner and then maybe try to do a sweep around here. And so I'm going to go ahead and drop... Oh, it is only those two. That might not be too bad. We're going to go ahead and drop a tank unit here in the front. And I say we just go nuts with melee units here to take care of these hellhounds. So there's Stream Raiders. That will be ready to go here in about 30 minutes. All right, now, I won't keep you on pins and needles any longer. Let's flip over here and discuss. Hold on, you guys probably can't hear it, but Final Fantasy is going nuts in the background. Hold on. The audio was quite loud. The opening cutscene kept playing in the background. So I'm going to reveal the results of the poll now. This poll was a sub goal. I think the sub goal was 10 subs, and then we 10 subs, and then I would allow you guys as my viewers to change my character's race and gender in Final Fantasy XIV. We ended up getting rated by a charity stream. They blew that sub goal completely out of the water, hitting like 49 or 50 subs, which is insane. And so nonetheless, we had to follow through with that goal here. I had a poll that was running from every single race and gender combination in Final Fantasy XIV, aside from the one that I was currently playing, and it ended up with a tie between two of them. And those two were Lalafell female and Hrothgar, which is a lion type person. And then in third place, you had male Viera, which is a bunny person in third here. Sorry, let me flip to the right screen. And so I decided to hold a runoff vote with just the two most chosen options, the ones that tied, so female Lalafell and male Hrothgar. Now, I did check this a little bit because I sent it in the esports Discord and Facebook and some other places to try and get some last-minute votes in. But I don't actually know where it ended. When I looked last time, it was very, very close, and there were like 16 votes. So we're going to flip over here in just a second. I'm going to go to the live screen here. I did have some Game Chops radio running in the background, as I usually do. But let's see what those results are. And then once we get the end results of that survey, I am going to use the time that we are changing and designing our new character as a way to talk about the next game studies topic, which is the idea of games as expression. And I think that's going to be a pretty cool conversation. So stick around for that. But let's see what we got. We have 9 votes for female Lalafell. We have 7 votes for Hrothgar. That means I get to now play as a little Lalafell girl. So that will be what you have chosen for me. Now, I think this can be cool, right? Because, let's see, I will cast the tiebreaker with a female gnome. This will be cool, right? Because as a 30-year-old white dude, I don't really identify with the gnome female archetype. But I think we can do some cool things anyway, right? I will say, even though I don't personally identify with much about that type of character, you know, I am a dad now, a dad of 2 little girls. I think there can be some fun way to kind of express that kind of idea, that childlike wonder in this type of character. We can still make her look cool. The really funny part is my character's name is Mr. Sticks, and I don't get to change the name when I change the gender. So anyway, let's hop into it. I'll bring up Final Fantasy. You guys should be seeing you guys should be seeing an Alra guy standing in his skivvies right now because I had to get everything set up there. Let's see. I saw some weird shit on an RP server a while with a no on a New Year's once. I'm sure you did. I am sure you did. So let's click this. We're gonna click re-edit character. Yes. We are not gonna load any save data because I have not done any work with this. I thought about doing all of this off camera and not bothering with it, but I thought this might actually be fun. That doesn't mean I'm gonna have you guys dictate what this character looks like, but you can have your input on some stuff if you want to, and we'll talk about how this whole concept of character creation fits well within the MDA framework and the idea of expression in gaming. So let's get the basics out of the way first, and once we're actually fiddling with the things here, we'll get into it. So here were the different options. We had here Elizin, Lalafell, Mikote, Rogadin, Aura, which is what I was, Hrothgar, and Viera. Okay. You'll notice all of them have male-female variants except for Hrothgar, who only has a male. There was supposed to be a female equivalent, but it has not yet been added to the game. And then initially, Viera was actually supposed to only be a female, and then they added the male variant as well. So when these were added, this was supposed to be, Hrothgar is supposed to be like the Ronso race from Final Fantasy X. And then the Viera are the Viera race that's in like Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced and a couple others. But you guys chose Lalafell female. So we'll start there. Sure. Let me turn on the speaker so you guys can actually hear the audio. All default avatars wear white Birkenstocks. I'm down. All right. So the first thing we choose is our clan. Now this is purely cosmetic. There is a little bit of lore reasons behind here. I'm not going to read the whole thing here. But basically we can choose to be from the plains or the dunes. And then for a lot of the other races, if I back it up for a second, like if I go with like Aura instead, okay, and then I choose their clan, it actually has a huge effect on their appearance and like their default skin tones. For the Lalafell, not so much. Here, I'll even show you guys what would happen if we had gotten Hrothgar. If we had gotten Hrothgar, which was close, then we could have either been the Hellions, which are like these brownish, darkish ones, or the Lions, which are like these snow ones with the horns. This is the ones that look like Kamari from FF10. But the Lalafell, it's blinking, you'll miss it in terms of difference, right? So it says the plain folks from the flat landscapes, the home islands where the Lalafellan clan takes their name. They have a distinct hair coloration. So instead of having skin tone difference, it's more about the hair colors available to them. Helps them blend in and act as camouflage. Grassy fields, blah, blah, blah. Okay, dunes. Obviously, they're coming from glaring sunlight. Sometimes they have traditional gemstones in their foreheads, which we can't really see right here. They're adamant about scholasticism, the advancement of knowledge, blah, blah, blah. Other races tend to perceive Dunes folk as more introverts who care more about books, business, and prosperity. And then here it says, these are the first ones that landed in Limsa. They're clever and opportunistic. They're crafty with their words. They're vibrant and excessive conversationalists. Okay, so if I'm trying to do some form of identification, even though I'm live streaming and talking your ear off right now, I'm very introverted. So I guess Dunes folk would match more up with me personally. Okay, now you can do height. Now for these guys, it's not really going to matter, right? But I can be I'm currently 36.2 inches tall. I could be as short as 34.2 or as high as 38.2 with a Lalafell. You're going to be short no matter what. So I guess we'll go slightly on the, like 50s right here. We'll go slightly on the tall end, I guess. For the female characters, you get to determine their bust size. So that's just kind of an awkward thing. And again, with the Lalafells, it's not really going to make a difference. So I'm just going to leave it at like wherever it was. I think it was sitting at 25. Face. Okay. Final Fantasy XIV doesn't have a lot of race options, and here we'll wear race attire. It's a little bit better. So they have 4 options. There's not going to be a huge amount of difference, and then you can actually customize it between those. So we have pretty plain Jane here. This one's got like slight rosy cheeks, a little bit of a different coloration to the ears and the eye shape. This one's got freckles. This one's got kind of the rosy cheek deal. I like the first one the best. We'll do some tweaking with it. Skin tone, okay? You'll notice for like the Aura and stuff, you could be gray, or you could be blue, or you could be green, or you could be lots of different colors. The Lalafell take a more like traditional, like humanoid, like human coloration. So it's all like different standard flesh tones here. So you can go kind of like real pale like this. You can go really dark, and kind of anywhere in between. So we'll go with one that's not like super pale, but not super dark, right? I'm fairly complected. So maybe something like... The other thing that's different, so I'm going to put her in a different environment, is the lighting was different in the character creation screen than it was in some of these, and that really messes with the lighting on the characters. So let's see, why don't we go with something like that. I like that. All right, now we get to do some fun stuff. Hairstyle. Now, the character is currently a Reaper, and so that doesn't really matter here. But I want to choose something that I think would be fun, right? This character, like when I think about this, I like characters. I always play as like the Disciples of War Magic. I don't really do the crafting classes. So this character is going to be like slinging spells or slashing blades or tanking enemies or whatever. So I want to have a hairstyle that's like, that I think is like practical for like getting in the mess of things, right? So like long down hair would, like, I imagine, get in your way. So I'm going to have something that maybe is like an updo or something that's like tied back or something. So I'm just going to kind of look through the options here. We'll see. If anybody's like, oh yeah, that was a good one, go ahead and let me know. Although it's really hard to tell because none of them are numbered and none of them are described. So we've got kind of that one. Buns. That sounds kind of cool. That one comes with like a hairband in there by default. One of my daughters is too young to care about her hairstyle. The other one always loves to have her hair down, like just all natural. So I don't know. We'll see. This one's got like a little braid in the back. That one's got pigtails. That one's just got like a straight... This is like my 1-year-old. the on top ponytail. A little bit of a tied back ponytail. Pigtails. So these are different colored bows. Kind of a bit of a longer pigtail. This one's got some sass and some style to it. Like they're in like an 80s hair metal band. I kind of like the layered effect there with the braid. That's kind of cool. So many hairstyles. Dreadlocks? Nah, not for me. Longer longer pigtails. And it's kind of like the moppy style. I'm really digging the ones that kind of have like the high pony or the thing in the back where it's like tied back and out of the face. There's your standard anime protagonist, spiky hair. There's your Cloud Strife. Oh my, there's the pompadour. I feel like every character customizer in the last 10 years has introduced this as a hairstyle just for fun. Like, I don't know if I've ever met somebody in my real life that had hair anything close to this. I'm digging most of the ones we were seeing earlier on. I'm gonna go back and maybe pin one or two of these. I really like the first one actually. That was kind of nice. The nice thing is I like that one. With the hairstyles, you can actually go to I could do it in wood, but the cool thing is you can always go to like a hairstylist in the game and you can change your hairstyle at any time. So while I can't like change race on a whim, or gender on a whim, I can change hairstyle whenever I want. And you can actually even get some special haircuts from they call it an aesthetician or a beautician in the game. And there's some like goofy quests with those too. But I like those two. Let's see. What are some other ones that were all right? Maybe like narrow it down to like maybe 3, and we'll go from there. I thought there was another one that was more like, maybe that was it. Oh, that was it. That was it. Okay, so we'll go between these 3. So we got this one, the very first one, or this third one. I think honestly, I'm gonna go with this one. All right, hair color. So with hair color, you can have a like a base hair color, and then you can have highlights. So the left one is actually the highlights, as you can kind of see like that. So I won't leave it here, but to give it the effect, there's like that green tone, and then the base one is over here. So I kind of like that like pink rose color that we had before. That wasn't too bad. You know, if I was gonna go something boring and try to like make it close to myself, which I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You know, I could go with like a darker brown sort of situation, but I don't really know if I like that too much. I like the idea of having the hair color for this kind of character pop, because I feel like the Lalafells don't have a ton of personality in their design, and so much of all these characters are covered up by armor and stuff anyway, that the hair color is really where you can make some things pop. So I don't know if I'm gonna go with pink, but I kind of like that actually. What'd be another color that might be kind of fun? You could do like almost like a minty, like turquoisey green type color. That'd be kind of cool. Like a blue. I'm a huge fan of purple, but I don't know if I want to do purple hair. It's not too bad though, actually. Probably not gonna go with like white or blonde or black or gray or brown. Color like this one's like one of my wife's favorite colors. Let's take off the highlight for now. Almost as just as it. I'm kind of trying to find that hair color we started with, because I really thought that fit the character kind of well. Be a little less. That's kind of cool. Maybe we'll go with that one. This is pretty much the hair color we were just looking at. Do we want to highlight? Maybe we go with, let's see, we were on this road. We'll do that. It's really subtle, but not bad. Okay. Jaw. Oh, great. Here. Again, look very closely. You're going to miss this, I think. There's type 1 for the jaw. Type 2. Oh, did you see that? Did you see the change? Huh? I honestly... Yeah, let me flip back to this. I couldn't tell squat. It's like a very slight difference in the shape of their, or fullness of their cheeks. It's not even a jaw thing. Okay, what about 3? Okay, there we're looking at like a fuller, like, lower jaw. How does it look from the front? What's the difference? Okay. So just like a more fuller face overall. That one's more like a slightly more square. I mean, they're all like very minimal difference. I can now kind of see the difference between 1 and 2. And we'll just stick with 1. Eye shape. It was like a teal, also pink-haired gnomes or so 2000. All right, you've convinced me. Here, we'll go back and do like the teal thing. It's getting the right. Where was I? Here it was. So if this is the one, let's see. There. All right. Eye shape. So like the big round eyes. Okay. This is more like oval shape. This is more circular. Again, like the Lalafell variation from like jaws and eyes and stuff, there's not a ton because they're all supposed to look like these charming little like. Again, they're the best comparison is like gnomes, right? So they're all gonna have like this childlike appearance. They're all gonna have the round faces and the big eyes and the stocky limbs, and so there's not a ton that I can do to make a huge difference. Like 6, like 1, and like 4. Okay, so what's in between 1 and 4? It's really just the eyelashes that are different. What about 1 and 6? Eyes are a little bit bigger. Let's go with 4. Eye color. Now again, so this is where you can do like all sorts of wacky stuff. This is one like I don't want to have an eye color that's like too distracting. When I first made it, I was looking at the character creator and saw like eyes like this. I'm like, oh, you could go like the Mako eyes like Cloud has. I'm like, yeah, but over 200 hours of cutscenes, that might get a little bit old, right? You can also do heterochromia, which is kind of cool. So you can have 2 different colored eyes. I won't be doing that just because for me it would be distracting during cutscenes and like if I had heterochromia, I probably would pick a character with 2 different eye colors, but I don't. So let's see. I don't want to go with the eye color that's identical to the hair color. So what's something that would kind of be cool or complement it? Again, probably won't go with like the boring. Ooh, that's weird. You have your black soulless like doll eyes right there. I also kind of like the other cool thing about FF14, right, is you can choose your character class at any time. So it's not like, oh, I'm trying to make my character look like they should be a mage or they look like they would be a warrior. I can change that at any time, so I just try to pick one that like feels like it could be a chameleon. It could fit any one of those. So let's see. I really want green. Purple's kind of cool, but I don't know if purple goes. Oh my god, she's so little. Yeah, I know. Yeah, thank you, chat. This is the character we're working with. So as soon as I'm done like tweaking her, and then we'll really talk about like the concepts of expression and stuff in games. Let's see. I'm not really pulled strongly towards a certain eye color. Does chat have any preferences on like a shade or a tone? I won't promise you I'll go with it, but I don't really gonna go with red. That looks a little bit demonic, but devilish. I think the purple is kind of cool. I'm fine with like a blue or a green. I just don't want it to be exactly like the hair color. I mean, you could go with a more traditional, you know, like a brown or a hazel. My eyes are like a brown hazel color, but blue there is actually not terrible. I kind of like that. I don't know if like teal and purple are complementary colors or not. I mean, our wedding colors for my wife and I were like a turquoise blue and like a royal purple, and that looked really good together. But so maybe this look mix yellow and blue. So I'm probably not gonna do like the heterochromia thing, just because again, like I just said, that would be a little bit distracting for me, and I don't identify with the, I don't have two different eye colors, and so for me it would be a little bit off-putting. But I'll take a look at yellow. Oh, I see why you're saying it though. Yellow and blue for the school colors. I got you. I got you. Like a darker pink. All right, let's look at yellow. We'll look at blue, and then we'll look at darker pink. So yellow, we have like these types of shades. Those don't look too bad. I think if I went with yellow, I'd probably go with that. The weird thing about them is they don't really have like pupils, do they? There's like a reflection in their eyes, but they don't have like pupils. It's all just, I mean, they kind of do. No, they really don't, do they? Okay, blue. If we went with blue, we'd probably go with like a darker blue, kind of like that. And then a darker pink. Maybe something like that. Maybe we can bring the pink in here since we're no longer doing it for the eye color. That's not bad. Maybe I think I may like that one a little bit more. We'll go with that for now. I can always go back and fix it. So if you guys are like, no, not that one, or hey, you should try this, that's fine. Eyebrows. Again, you're not gonna have a ton of variation here. Okay. So eyebrows can convey a lot of emotion though, right? Like happy or angry or serious or so you got the more narrow eyebrows, you got the bigger, bushier eyebrows. Let's go with, we'll just keep the eyebrows we started with. Nose. Again, I think like their noses are just like little buttons on their face. So I think you're gonna see angry brows. Yeah, like middle row pink, not too dark. But I really liked the yellow. And we'll look back at eye color again in just a second. Let's get the nose settled. Okay, so that one's just like the cute little button nose. This one's a little bit more protruding. This one's more back to the narrow design, but a little bit more pronounced, right? A little bit like longer. This one is a little bit smaller than the original one. Then you have 5, which is a little bit bigger. Then you have 6, which is really small. I kind of like the balance we get with the first one. All right, so let's go back to eye colors for a second. Yeah, middle row pink, not too dark. Yeah, so maybe something like this one or this one, maybe even this one. Maybe like that, or I really like the yellow. I kind of like the yellow too. I think I like the pink more than the yellow though. I'll zoom out a little bit. Yeah, I think I like the way the pink pops a little bit more. We'll go with the pink. Just narrow down the tone here. I think this may be a shade darker than what we had before. Okay, nose, mouth. Again, some of these characters, and I won't do it because it'll reset the customization stuff, but some of them have like really distinct noses and eyes and mouths and stuff, but the little Lalafells are all very similar, no matter what you do. Like again, so 2 has slightly fuller lips. 3 has a slightly wider mouth. And then that one's like the little pursed, like small mouth. So we'll go with that one. Lip color. I probably won't mess with this too much. I think it kind of implies that the character has like lipstick, right? I know I'm playing a female character, but I mean, I don't feel any more inclined to or less inclined to have like lip color or lipstick on than I would if I was playing a male character. So I think we'll just leave that alone. Ear shape. Okay, this might be where they get some of their strongest customization since they have the pointy elf-like ears. So they have the pointy upright ones. These ones are a little bit more downturned. Don't like those as much. These ones are more rounded off. And these ones are kind of like the first ones, but not quite as pointed. Honestly, I like the really exaggerated pointy ones. I feel like those give her a lot more personality. Ear size. Oh boy. Hey, Streamers is ready. I will, the super tiny mouth is adorable, but so dorky. Yeah, it really is. And I think I ended up going with the bigger mouth. I'm probably gonna leave this right about here. I like where it's at now at the 25, but I'm gonna crank this down. Okay, there's your like most reduced ears, and then let's see how big these suckers get. Boom! You could fly an airplane with those ears. Yeah, that'd be way too distracting for me. Did they get bigger or did they just go out more? Oh, they actually got bigger. So the default was 25. I like that. Do we want to go a little bit higher, a little bit lower? Oops. I don't feel like you want to go too much lower, right? Because again, like characters like this, their ears are often a big trait that kind of would lead towards their personality a little bit. So I'm going to go back to 25. Facial features. So this is where, now she's got her bangs in her face. This is where I could do a gem on her forehead. This might be because I picked Dunesfolk and it said that they sometimes have those. I could go with eyeshadow. I could go with like a darker nose. That's fun. Or I could go with an earring, a set of earrings. And the cool thing is you can mix and match. You can have more than one. I'm not really digging the gemstone in the middle. I don't mind the earrings. The weird thing is, okay, so the thing about it is you actually, one of the things in your character you get is you actually get earrings. And so I assume it would just double up on the earrings. Like I'd have the default ones plus whatever ones I was wearing. That could create some ones though where, you know, I would assume they built it in. So like if I'm wearing them down here, the ones that I get for my character, like as equipment are probably offset a little bit. But that would be really distracting to have like the default earrings overlapping or clipping with some other ones. So I'm probably just going to turn them off and use whatever earrings our character has. Tattoos. They don't have, oh, some of them have a ton of tattoo options. They just have left cheek, right cheek, both, none. And then I could change the color with it. But I think we're going to leave the facial markings alone. Face paint. Oh, here's what I was talking about. They can have all sorts of different designs and stuff on their face. Again, I probably won't go with any of these. To me, for any of the races that have these, it reminds me a lot of like going to like a child's face painting booth. Being like, oh, I want a butterfly. Here you go, kid. We probably aren't going to do that. You could do some really like badass war paint looking stuff or, you know, like some like scar looking war paint, but we're just going to leave that be. And then voice. The last thing we get to do is change our character's voice. And so what I've noticed is that most of them, it's like maybe 3 different voices, and then they've pitched them all up or down. And so I'm going to shut up while I click through these, and then I'll click through some of the different voice lines too. So. That's a better voice line. That sounded like Pikachu. Like a lot like Pikachu. I hope that you're listening to this with the volume turned way up with somebody else in the room that has no idea what you're doing. Really like 7. Yeah, we're going with 7. Okay, I think that's it. So there's our character. Lalafell, female. We've got the teal hair, the pink eyes. Save the appearance data. We'll do it in a new slot. That's a cool thing too. You can save your appearance. You have like 12 slots for saving your appearance. And so you can, if you made a new character down the road, or if you changed through Fantasia, like if I change my race back down the road, I've saved that character data and I can just reload it. So that's cool. All right, before we keep going, let me switch over to Stream Raiders. 12 units got placed, which is a lot. I know that JJ Colade was doing some heavy lifting, but he's not the only one. It was also Timmy once again. So let's start this battle and see if we can crush him this time. This should be an easy dub. Yeah, that was way easier than the last time we were on this map. I want a vampire unit. That's cool, or a scroll. And then one unit gets a paladin scrolls. If we look over here, Timmy and JJ Colade were both heavy contributors. JJ Colade had one more unit and all the kills. So I'm going to give this one to JJ Colade. We'll give the next one to Timmy. All right, let's go back to the map. We have a choice. We have a 2-star with like a crap reward, or a 4-star with a pretty good one. Now, if both of you guys stick around and keep playing, I think the 4-star is not too hard. I haven't seen any of these enemy types yet, so we'll see. Well, let's go with the 4-star. I just see one Megapede. Again, I can't see if there's any units hiding down here. Can I? Oh, there we go. I can do that. I only see that. So what's the Megapede? A giant armored centipede that devours the opponent, but takes a while between attacks to finish its meal. It looks like it does a ton of damage. I think it's gonna kill most of like the low level units in one hit regardless. And so it might be a good idea. Its attack speed's really slow. So our option, we have 2 options. We either go range units and hope that it doesn't get up to any of them and eat them, in which case we're in trouble. Or we do the idea of like creating some frontline people that are literally just fodder for this thing to eat, and then attacking it with like melee or range units while it's digesting. So you guys figure out what you want to do there. I'm going to place a tank unit, I think, right here. I'm hoping that because I'm captain and my units are a little bit bulkier anyway, that he might actually be able to take more than one hit. And, oh no, he's only got 80 HP. Well, he'll be your sacrificial lamb. Why don't you guys place your other units like around or behind him so he can get eaten, and then maybe you can light this thing up while it's trying to eat my captain. So there you go. All right. So before we hop into the game, there's a couple other things we need to do, but I wanted to stop and talk about like games' expression for a minute. So in the framework, this is also called games as self-discovery, and they define it in 2 ways. They say this is when a game provides dynamics that encourage users to leave their mark on the game or its world. And then they list several different ways that they can do that, and we'll get into more details on these in a minute. But these could be, there's a whole host of these, right? Like this that we're doing right now is probably the purest form of expression in a video game. And I'll talk more in depth about avatar creation in a moment. But that doesn't have to be in a game like this, right? So the things they list that would provide a way for a player to exercise or express themselves would be purchasing systems, right? Where I've earned money and I can choose how to spend my money that I've earned. Games with building mechanics. So this could be something like virtual Legos via Minecraft, or it could be like a city building simulator, or like I've played role-playing games where you're trying to like rebuild towns as you progress through the game, and you get to choose where like the buildings and the homes and stuff go. It could be through like restoring, like in Stardew Valley, you have to restore the community center, right? That's a form of expression. It could be through game items, so either purchasing or unlocking game items. This could be weapons or equipment that go on a character like this. It could be like trophies that get displayed somewhere in the game, like actual like tchotchkes that can go in like a room in like your house in a game. It could be through constructing or changing the world around you as well. And then of course they talk about this. They say you could do this through the form of a personalized, unique character or avatar. And so we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but we're going to finish our creation here first. And what I want you guys to realize too, expression can come in the form of solo, like single player games. It can come in the form of cooperative multiplayer games like this one. It can even come in the form of like competitive games, right? And it can even come through in characters, but characters in games where you don't create a character. You're choosing an established character, but you're choosing one that you relate to or identify with in some way, right? So again, this character on her surface, I don't relate to her on a physical appearance level to my own, right? Like I didn't create her in my own image, but there's some things about her that I think look pretty cool, right? And that's kind of as deep as mine kind of goes, is, oh, that looks kind of cool. But I kind of did think about like colors that were meaningful to me, or connections to like my family, my children, stuff like that, when I was building it, right? What I'm hoping is that like I can bring Elise down sometimes, because she sees me play this from time to time, be like, hey, look at my character, isn't she cool? And see what she thinks, right? But in terms of like, oh, I built this character as a mirror image of myself, obviously not, okay? But like, let's say, and I'm going to use this as an example just because it's the one that always pops to my mind. It's a really good example of this. Think about a game like Overwatch, right? You don't get to, I mean, you can buy skins or unlock skins, or thanks Blizzard for screwing everybody on the skins. But if you ignore the skins for a minute, like I could choose, and many people do, when they're going to hop in and play Overwatch, they're like, oh, or when they're first getting into it, they maybe pick a character that they relate to or identify with. Now, some players will eventually gravitate towards, I don't care what the character looks like, I want to pick one that meshes with my playstyle the best. But like, for example, if I was Australian, then I might be more inclined to pick somebody like Roadhog, Junkrat, or now Junker Queen, because that's something about my person that kind of matches up well with this character, right? Like my dialect, my affect, my nationality, whatever, right? It could be something that meshes with my personality, right? Like, you know, I could pick a Reaper because I think of myself as kind of edgy and brooding, and so I kind of mesh with that style of character. So you can absolutely nail expression in a game where you're choosing the character you play as, not one that you have a large degree of customization over, but because you identify with or relate to something about that character. And this is where you get into the thing where you talk about like people that are huge lore fiends, and they really dive into the backstory and history of these characters. Like that's something that you'd see in Overwatch for sure. There's of course a huge world that they had there, but also like I think the game that I primarily coach, right, Siege. Like I don't know of any players personally that like pick an operator because they're like, ooh, I identify with Ashe, or I identify with Castle, or I identify with whatever. And maybe there are people that do that. Most of the time, operators in Siege are picked based on the utility that they provide or the way that they feel in the game. But every single one of those operators has a bio you can click on, and if you want to, you can read like a short history of that character and the adventures that they've been on. You can get some like a psych report that leads some insights into their personality, and then you kind of get like how did they end up in Rainbow Six or in one of the factions in the game, right? So you can do that, and if you chose your character based on that, then you are in some ways expressing yourself, right? So when we get into the game itself in a minute and we can see other characters running around, I'll talk some more about the expression through character or player created avatars. Now we're not done yet. So the next thing we can do is we can actually change our name day, which is our birthday. Now, to my knowledge, this has absolutely no effect on the game at all. I could probably pull up a wiki and be proven wrong in 10 seconds. But when I did this one, I just chose the one that matched up with my own birthday in the real world. So they have 12 months. They have the first through 6th astral and then umbral moons, right? So there's your January, February, March, April, May, June. So I was born in July. I was born on July 21st. So I just have always chosen 7/21 as my character's birthday. So I'm going to keep it that way. Okay, the next one, you actually get to choose their guardian. So again, this is a little bit of lore stuff. It's a little bit of background. To my knowledge, this does not have any impact in the game world at all. But to go along with the 12 calendar months, there are 12 gods and goddesses in the world of Eorzea, Final Fantasy XIV, that you can choose from. And they're all loosely tied to the base classes that existed in the game, right? So Halone is the goddess of war. So it says she commands the element of ice associated with the first moon. She's depicted as a warrioress with a bronze great shield. I picked this because my character initially was more of a tank type role. You have Menfina. She's the keeper of the moon, the goddess of love. She also commands ice. Both of these are ice. She's associated with the second moon. She's the sister of Azima, which is this one over here. She's most depicted as a maid carrying a skillet. So there's like a culinarian, like a cooking class in this game. So the last line kind of shows you what class they're most depicted as, right? So Thaliak, he's depicted as a scholar holding an ashen staff. His symbol's the scroll. Naimea, she is depicted as a weaver. Lil Limlayan is a fisherwoman, right? Whatever. Again, because I could, if I had to be locked into a class and I'm like, oh, this is like the Black Mage one, I'm going to pick the Black Mage God. It doesn't really work that way because they can change all the time. And so I'm just going to pick one that I think sounds fun. God of Destruction, now fallen nation of Alamigo, controls the element of lightning. Architecture and industry and the arts, element of lightning. Ardent Smith. Wind, mountains, travelers, vagrants, navigation. I don't know, none of these are really speaking to me. They never really have. Discerning merchant, god of the underworld, god of commerce. Soul of the cavalry, ancient shell currency. She was the sun and goddess of inquiry. Fire, noble lady holding a golden fan. Yeah, we might just stick with Helen because I don't really care, honestly. This one says the full moon though. That's kind of cool. Now here we go. We'll go with the god of knowledge. Okay. Class, it says Thaumaturge, which is weird. We can't change that. It'll go back to Reaper when we log in. Server, I can't change that. Name, I can't change that. Are you satisfied with this? Yeah. And then it also, the last thing it says, hey, depending on what race you pick, certain hairstyles might be unavailable. So there's some special hairstyles that are reserved for certain races or that you unlock while you're playing. And so they're saying, hey, if you switch over to female Lalafell, you might not be able to have the certain haircut. I don't care. Here we go. We have been reborn. It's now thinking. That's weird. It's usually instant. So, we will wait for the queue to pop. Get in the world. This character, she's going to immediately look different because we're going to throw on the Reaper gear. So she's gonna go be looking from cutesy to edgy real quick. There's that's kind of funny. Like, there's something to be had about like a character that's this big, that's got a reaper and a demon that they summon, and yeah, kind of goes against the cutesy archetype of the Lalafells, which is nice. And I like that they let you do that, you know. And this isn't a knock at all. I think it was great how it was implemented here, but you know, like a game like WoW, and maybe it's changed since then. I don't know if Andrew's still in here. I'm sure he can pipe up. But like WoW, at least initially, like your race determined which classes were available to you, and it wasn't arbitrary. It was like, well, it wouldn't make sense for a night elf to be able to be this class because it doesn't mesh well with their lore and their story and their, you know, their history and stuff. But I like in Final Fantasy XIV that any race, any gender can be any class. So let's put our, I'm going to start by putting our basic gear that we had back on. There it is. So there she is. And actually, you know what? I'm probably going to take the eye patch off. Or hide the eye patch. But she actually looks pretty cool. How do I hide it? Yeah, she looks ready to go mess people up. But we're going to spend a little bit of time, now that we've done Beauty Shop with kind of remaking the character and changing the race, now we're going to spend some time casting Glamours, which is basically changing all of our gear. And that's another system that, as far as I know, got pioneered in World of Warcraft. Maybe it existed in another place before that. But the idea was like, I unlocked this really badass set of gear, and then the new expansion came out, and I immediately went into crappy green level stuff that's got way better stats. And so this was a system where I could like camouflage or turn my gear's appearance into this old cool set I had while retaining the stats from the new piece of armor. And I did this while I was spinning the Wheel of Hats a while back. Okay. So let's look at our options that we have there. What I'm going to show you guys immediately is I got a login bonus when I came in today, and I'm not entirely sure how I got it, but they gave me a Strife vest. They gave me a Strife gloves, Strife leggings, and Strife boots. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, I don't think I have to tell you who I'm supposed to be dressed as like now, but this is supposed to be Cloud. I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, and I think this is cool that this is in the game. I think it was a reward for like subscribing for X amount of days. But when I logged in to get the vial to change my character, I also had this gear set waiting for me. I don't know if it fits really well right now with our Reaper loadout. I mean, it's certainly not any worse than what we had. And we can also do some mixing and matching too, but I thought that was cool. But we're going to kind of look and see what we have. Might do a little bit more mixing and matching. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to put that old gear back on, which I can do like this. And then what we can do is we can do cast Glamour. So I could kind of look at my headgears, and I could try on or change it to look like any number of things. So I think I'm going to keep the headgear hidden. Since we just made this character, I want to be able to see her. There's the earrings I was talking about. I think the default ones I could have picked would have conflicted with that one. So I like that we changed it. I can also, what I could have done is I think I can also hide the earrings if I want to. But let's see, do I have anything cool I could put on here? What's this look like? That's kind of cool, but it doesn't really fit with what I'm doing. Scion jacket, eh. The Alpine coat, we could put on a big old fur coat. The Wake Doctor's coat. That's kind of cool, and we could dye that black. And then there's a whole like gear set I got from some sort of event. I can't remember what it was. What if we try cast Glamour? We put on the Wake Doctor's white coat. Then we dyed it. I don't have any black. I can go get some though. Oh yeah, I do. Dyed it black. We could even dye it. I think for a short while, I think I had it dyed red. So it kind of reminded me of like Dante from Devil May Cry. But we'll go with what we have. We have soot gray or black. So we'll dye this coat black. There. So she's still got kind of her edgy Reaper look to it, but a little bit classy with the kerchief and all that sort of stuff. What else can we do? We'll probably leave the gloves like they are. Actually, no, maybe this is where we'll put on the strife gloves. Let's see. Yeah, let's try those on. Yeah, I'm down for that. The leggings. Maybe we can. What happens if we put on the strife bags? Those are like baggy pants. I like that. We're gonna do that too. There we go. Didn't make a huge difference. And then the boots. And we could put on something like that. That doesn't really match with our theme right now. Put on the adventurers boots. Doesn't really match with our style right now. Let's see what the strife boots look like. Again, with the Lalafells, like, they really don't... Their feet are so small that you can't even tell. Look at that. Okay, but we will cast the glamour and try them on anyway. There we go. I'm digging that. Oh, and that actually made the pants cover the boots before pants were tucked into the boots. So we don't look super duper edgy anymore. I mean, we always look a little bit edgy with the scythe. But now we have a character that's completely recreated race-wise, gender-wise, and now has their appearance customized a little bit too. So, before we actually hop in and play, let's transfer back to town. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. I'm going to go back to the place that I always show you guys. Before I do that, I want to make sure I know where I'm at. It's been a long time, so I'm in Port Pretoria. Okay. Because I want to walk around this densely populated area and just show you, as I've done before, all of these characters. But I want to, as you guys are kind of, I'm just going to kind of sit in Limsa for a couple of minutes and let you guys kind of see the characters that are just meandering, discussing, walking by, right? And then after I'm done, I might go point out a couple of them. I would say initially loading right in, like I look like this person, that person, and this person were all like part of a group together because they all kind of have the same Oriental style clothing, and like her stuff's really cool. Clearly they've got like their outfit tied into like their hairstyle as well, with like the bluish purple and the highlights and all of that. So that's cool. We're going to have trouble seeing these people because everybody that teleports here lands right about here, and so they're going to overlap with one another. I also want to see if this person's still here, because he's always here. There is a guy that I've pointed out on stream before. I don't think he's here. He was a Rogadin guy, and he would always stand up here in like this really fancy outfit and lean against the wall, and he was here like every single time that I came to Limsa or logged in. Okay, that person has clearly expressed themselves in a unique way. Okay, this character really looks like Bayonetta to me, right? And that's another cool thing that you can do in games, especially games like Final Fantasy XIV, is you can choose to like emulate other characters. And again, the hairstyle and kind of the look they're going for kind of reminds me of Bayo a little bit, Bayonetta. This person's just kind of going, I'm assuming they're a paladin. No, they're a machinist. That's interesting. With the like heavy metal look and the epaulets and the like cloth down here, to me this screams paladin. Now if we examine their gear, they've glamored it to look like the false monarchy armor. I don't know if that's a machinist set or if that's more of a anybody set. Like I'll give you guys an example if I go to cast glamours again. They do have some restrictions, right? I can't turn my damage dealing gear and make it look like a healing set. So I couldn't run around looking like a white mage even though I'm a Reaper. I think they thought maybe that was too confusing or a little bit jarring. So this is a gear set that this machinist has to be able to equip, but to me that screams like paladin. But that's kind of cool that they've done that. That looks really, really dope. Like, I love the cloak. That was one of my favorite things about WoW, is that you could actually have like a cape behind your character. And WoW FF14 doesn't do that too often unless it's tied into the actual gear set, and so I think it's probably tied into, yeah, it's tied into the chess piece here. That's cool. Okay, so there are a couple things I wanted to highlight. As I'm doing that, you guys are free to look at all the wonderful people that are coming in and wandering around Limsa. So expression, right? What else does that mean? When we're talking about a game like this, obviously you're expressing yourself through your avatar. And so there's really two paths that people follow. They either go with, I'm going to create the idealized version of myself. So they may pick, like, I may have picked a human male with darker hair and a beard, and I would have made him look like what I idealize myself to be, or what I would like myself to look like, or what I see myself looking like in my head, or like, if I lived in this fantasy world and can go fight monsters and kick ass, how would I dress and what would I hope to look like, right? And that's very common, right? It's still a form of escapism. It's a form of fantasy fulfillment because, again, I'm creating the idealized version of me. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a human character, right? Like the idealized form of me might be a cat girl. I don't know. Or you can kind of go with the complete opposite end of the spectrum, which is that I'm going to try and move away from myself almost as far as possible. Not necessarily because I don't like myself, but because I'm trying to get into this like sense of escapism, right? I'm living in a fantasy world, so let me really create an elaborate fantasy. Not me being in a fantasy world, but I'm going to completely create this fantasy character that doesn't look or sound like me in any way. And I'm going to traverse through this world as them because I think they're cool, or because, again, I want to really live out that form of escapism or whatever. One of the things I've also heard from people quite a bit when they play MMOs like this, they're like, look, I'm going to be playing this character for hundreds, maybe thousands of hours. I really want to, like, aesthetically enjoy the character that I'm looking at. And yes, that can go in some creepy directions, especially when you look at the way that a lot of female armor is designed in games, where it's like I'm a tank wearing full plate armor, but when I equip it, it looks like I'm in my underwear. But it doesn't necessarily have to mean that, right? It could be the idea that, like, oh, I really like the way that the Hrothgars, the lion characters, look, so I want to pick that one because I'm going to be looking at my own character all the time. Or, it could be, any number of factors, right? And you can see that everybody who's in here right now has expressed themselves in very different ways, right? This guy, are they a mage? Yeah, they're a black mage. They look very black magey, very wizardy. Again, they've got like this purple gem staff thing, and I wonder if they've changed their hair color to coincide with their staff. Maybe not. Maybe their hair color was already that way. But they've definitely done that, right? So that's cool. But then this character over here that caught my attention, like, she is she's dressed as a miner right now. So that may be explaining this, but very much dressed down, right? Look, if you're going to go hang out with just go like hang out outside and maybe, take a casual stroll. They're not in battle gear. They look like they could walk down our streets now, right? With their shorts and their Converse looking sneakers and, whatever. And then you have this person who's got like cat or fox ears and giant wings and, whatever. Let's see, what class are they? They're an astrologian. That is a healer. And so they've chosen to make their character look that way. And that's cool too, right? So if I click here, their hairpin, they've changed into the Timamo headband, which is like the ears. And then I don't know where the back's coming from. It's not that. What could that be? Not the rings. It's not the necklace. I don't think. Yeah. Shouldn't be gloves. Shouldn't be pants. It shouldn't be the boots. Huh. Now, is it the weapon? No. I don't know how you get that for your character. It doesn't look like it's any part of their gear set. That's cool. I don't know how they got the wings. Look at there. She looks fancy. and that person is a dancer, right? Oh, that's actually kind of cool, right? Because the way that they do the dancer class in Final Fantasy XIV is a lot of their dresses kind of very like light cloth, very flowy, like materials that will like drape or flow while you're dancing around. This one kind of went more like the end of being like a formal dancer, kind of. I mean, they're not wearing pants, but you know, like they've got like the coat and the 3-piece suit top and that kind of thing. That's kind of cool. So, you know, again, games are all about expression in all their different forms. That guy definitely expressing himself. I appreciate everything about this. Except for maybe the name. I don't know if that's problematic or not. But they're definitely expressing themselves in a very unique way. And they definitely want us to know it, right? They're posing here in the middle of town holding their umbrella. And I think their umbrella, is their umbrella their sword? It sure is. So when they pull out their sword, it transforms into an umbrella. So, so here's the cool thing about this, right? Now, when the MDA framework came out, it was like 2004, I think. And so games like this existed then. You had EverQuest, WoW came out in 2004, and there were other games that had character creation systems and online games before that. But a lot of what that was focused on was not on this type. So not your Final Fantasy XIVs and your WoWs and your Destinies of the world. It was built around single-player games. And so it was built around things like, again, purchasing stuff. And that may seem like a really silly idea, but like, if I'm earning money in the game and then I can go choose how I spend that money, that is a form of expression, right? Like, I played a lot of the old school Final Fantasies. I was the type of guy that would hoard a bunch of items, and then I wouldn't even use them on the final boss because I was like, oh, but I might need this down the road. I might need this down the road. I might need this. And then I'd get to the end and be like, oh, I've never used these items. They're kind of useless to me now. Like, I should have done that, right? But like, if I had gone there and been like, oh, I'm going to buy a bunch of, like in Final Fantasy VII, I'm going to go buy a bunch of grenades early on in the game. And then I'm going to throw those at enemies, right? That's me expressing something because I have agency or control over how the currency that I've earned is spent, right? Or like the more classic RPG example is I run to a new town, I immediately go to the weapons shop, and I see what new weapons and armor or spells sometimes, depending on the game, they have for my party when I get to town. And I spend all my money there, and then sometimes I blow through all my money and go, oh, well, shit, I wanted this this piece of gear too. And I'll go out, I'll either sell stuff that I don't want, or I'll go and grind for money outside of town for a little bit, and then I'll come back and buy that stuff because I want my characters all, you know, decked out with their gear. That is a form of expression, right? Because I have earned currency and I'm choosing how I spend it. I'm making an impact on my gameplay experience through the choice of how I'm spending that money. This guy looks cool. Is he a Dark Knight? He's a Hrothgar too. I was like, why does he have that hunched over look? But he's a lion character. Again, that was the other choice for what I could have been. So, all right, Stream Raiders just popped. So we're gonna flip over. We're gonna actually we'll do our next Stream Raiders battle, and then we'll actually play some Final Fantasy XIV for a little bit here. So let me flip over to Stream Raiders. Okay, we have, what is that, 14 units on the battlefield? Something like that. We've got an epic gladiator. That one might actually, I mean, he's still going to eat, isn't he? This one's 125 damage. Yeah. But if my tank gets eaten first, which is what I'm hoping happens, then this whole group should be able to wreck this guy. I hope. We'll see how fast he eats. So we got units from JJ Kool-Aid, units from Timmy, and then, hey, look, we got an archer from Jack Jan there. Keep your eye on this little archer. He's going to be our MVP. All right, let's go. He ate somebody. Oh, you know what? My tanks are slower than some of the other units. So somebody else got sacrificed instead. One viewer gets 50 gold. I said I would give it to Timmy this time, which I will. Alright, let's go back to the map. Before we play FF14, and before we load into our next one, let me see if I can upgrade my army at all. Oh, that's my own fault. My phone's turned down, but I keep getting the notification like I'm getting a text message. Um, Tactical Rogue. Yeah, Tactical Rogue. But my there's my text message ringer is the link shell sound or the link pearl sound from in the game, and that sound's getting spammed in the game right now, and I keep thinking my phone's blowing up. Let's see. I can't upgrade any units. I have not completed any quests. So we're just gonna get back at it. Now, I have another choice here. We're gonna go with the epic route here. Try to get the gold chest again. Okay. What are we looking at here? Enemies will be revealed over time. So at the start, when I first place my unit, we're not going to have any... We don't know what we're fighting, so you guys are going to have to pay attention every 5 minutes and see what enemies show up and start placing things to deal with that. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to do a flag bearer this time, and I'm going to plop them right there in the middle. That way, no matter where the enemy spawns or what type they happen to be, hopefully my flag bearer will help out what pops up. So I will rely on you guys to kind of watch the unfolding battlefield and choose units that you think will do a good job there. All right, back to Final Fantasy XIV. Last thing before we hop into some gameplay that I wanted to talk about. I've mentioned this before. These two are dancing in a synchronized way. That's another really cool thing. I'm just checking their classes real quick. That's another cool thing that you can do in Final Fantasy XIV is kind of have the synchronized dancing. You could have a whole row of people doing this if they all had to dance. And then this person's dancing next to them. And then this person is a bard who is playing a harp. The cool thing about the bards, this is a really great example of that expression. Like I've mentioned before, they're actually playing this instrument. There's a whole menu that pops up, and you can actually pluck the notes and play the instruments. I think you can also like record, like you can click the buttons in advance and save it, and then play it back. But either way, they're playing music, and they don't just have to play this harp-looking instrument. You can have trumpets, you can have piano sounds, you can have all sorts of instruments that you can choose from as a bard. And I've shown people in class like concerts that have been put on in this game through that. That's another really cool form of expression, as is synchronized dancing. And that was going to lead to a note that I had on my sheet of how else does expression show up. My wife and I have been playing an awful lot of Fortnite, right? Fortnite does expression really well as well, right? Obviously, I can unlock or buy skins, but even like the emotes or the dances that you unlock, again, through Battle Pass, shop, whatever, those are a form of expression, right? Like I'm choosing how to spend my real life money on the game in a way that makes an impact. So there's kind of another layer to that argument. This person is expressing themselves with their golden chicken armor. I want to go have that person be my tank. And like even things like the dances are a way of me kind of picking something that I relate to or that I enjoy, right? I'm probably going to pick dances that have songs in there that I enjoy, or I enjoy the dance, or it's a reference to something that I liked, or I think it's funny, or whatever. So give me a second here. Man, today was a day filled with lots of good food, but the dinner that I ate had a lot of cheese in it, and I am like super thirsty now. Went to a Mexican restaurant and had queso with our chips, and then the meal that I had queso on it too, and so it was just a lot of cheese, and I'm like super thirsty over here. But yeah, that's another form of expression, right? Like one of the most recent dance that I bought using V-Bucks I earned from Fortnite is there's like a sea shanty one where your character walks around and bangs a drum, and then Epic actually wrote like a sea shanty style song about like squatting up and trying to go win at a round of Fortnite. That person's supposed to be the Hulk. That's what I thought. Maybe not. Sexy Hulk. But I really like that one. It's fun. I like the song that they made. There's a lot of creativity there. And the cool thing about that one is if other players have the song too, they can sync up with you, and you'll walk around all banging your drums. And for every person that comes in with you, it layers a different voice on top of it. So the song actually gets stronger and louder as more people are doing it. So I thought that was really cool. So let's take a break from all of that analysis and talking about expression in games. I want you guys to take a look for it while we're going through this. You know, if I'm out in the middle of nowhere, you may not see a lot of people. But if we do any dungeon type stuff or come back to towns like this, you'll see it. Let's see what that song is before we go. Can we identify it? Name that tune. Look, they're playing a violin. I don't recognize it. Okay. Let's go back where we were supposed to be. That one. Pretty sure it's that one. Also, I need to check real quick. Whoops. Our character is level 73, just a stone's throw away from 74. And I want to see when we unlock our next skills. Do we have a skill at 74? 72, 76. 70, 70. 74, regress. Move instantly to the Hell's Gate left behind by you. Can only be executable under the effect of threshold. I don't know what that means. It's been a while since I played. I think it might be the thing. So you have Hell's Egress and Ingress, which are these movement abilities, which if I do this, it allows me to go forward and then or backward, but they share a recast timer. I think regress, what it will do is instead of them sharing a recast where I can only do one, you eventually unlock the ability to like teleport back or forward and then hit the other button to teleport back through. And maybe that's what I get. That'd be pretty cool. So we should be getting that in a minute. All right, let's go do the next story quest. I'm not going to attempt to catch us back up on the FF14 story. Plus, I also would have to watch this cutscene and kind of get back into it myself to figure that out. So I might do a quick crash course once I kind of get my bearings straight again. It's been a long time. Last time I played this game was on stream with you guys.
Ah, the heroes of the hour. Not content with securing the residential district, you gifted me an Imperial Commander. What are you after, a medal?
The work is its own reward, General. I must say, however, that Fordola's claims were not a little disturbing. What manner of power could Xenos have acquired that might equal...
It's coming back to me pretty quick. I'll explain when the cutscene's over.
Might you speak of our missing Omega?
Very possibly. The Empire's fondness for comparable Allagan technologies is exceedingly well documented. Have we made any progress with our own investigation?
One of the things that I love too, and I'll talk about this when this is done, my characters change, and obviously they're not going to acknowledge that. But that's fun.
None. The search goes on in earnest, but Cid has thus far found nothing of note. Mayhap the Galleons beat us to it. If they were working desperately to repair the machine, that might explain their decision to remain within their walls.
I forgot she changed outfits.
Ah, Lise. I trust you surrendered Fordola into custody without incident. We were just discussing the pilot's claims.
About Xenos and his newfound powers. She hasn't said a word on the subject since we rescued Cryle, even when the interrogator asked nicely.
Mayhap I can offer some insight into her claims, or at least into the facility and the experiments they conducted during my time there. Though my memories of the period are somewhat muddled, there are a few things I remember with painful clarity.
Thancred told us only that Fordola had undergone some manner of treatment.
Yes. It is a place wholly dedicated to the creation of enhanced beings, whom they refer to as the Resonant. As I understand it, the process aims to imbue a test subject with the qualities of an individual with demonstrated magical aptitude. This entails the mechanical extraction and transfusion of some manner of primordial essence.
So that's how Fordola improved so fast. I knew there had to be something. She wasn't half as strong or quick to predict my attacks when we first met. If it weren't for Eorzea's siphon thingy, I really don't think we'd have beaten her.
My humble scheme asked far more in the execution than it required in the conception, I do assure thee.
Oh, you've got to stop doing that.
In calling upon Lady Alisaie after her defeat, I was most intrigued to learn of the apparent effortlessness with which Fordola countered her attacks. 'Twas as if she knew the blade's destination ere its journey began. A most impressive feat under any circumstances, but an almost miraculous one when considered in the context of Fordola's unfamiliarity with my lady's arts. How then could she so perfectly predict an unknown opponent's every move? After much deliberation, I surmised that Fordola may be possessed of a preternatural ability to divine meaning from the fluctuations of an individual's ether and to instinctively react. To employ a metaphor, one might say that she was attuned to the whispers of my Lady Alisaie's soul.
Wait, have you not just described a manifestation of the Echo?
I had no conclusive proof. The available anecdotal evidence suggested only that Fordola was uncommonly sensitive to etheric fluctuations, and 'twas this which led me to develop my stratagem. I would fashion a device with the capacity to generate a massive disruption in the surrounding ether. If, as I suspected, Fordola's senses were indeed questing for the most minor of oscillations, the shock of exposure to a more amplitudinous etheric waveform would be akin to a debilitating bout of ether sickness.
How ingenious. I note that the success of your plan hinged on your device's wielder remaining ignorant of its purpose, lest Fordola divine your intent.
Indeed so, Master Alphino. All things considered, 'twas a most fortuitous outcome.
That's putting it mildly. In any event, if Eorzea is correct, that would mean these Resonant have been granted the power of the Echo via artificial means. A sobering thought, to say the least, and one which makes me wonder what else Xenos has in store.
Whatever the Viceroy's newfound powers, I know of none better equipped to face him. And face him you must, for there is now but one path forward, and it leads straight to Alamigo.
And it's not as if we came unprepared. We've got all our friends and allies fighting for the same thing. Honestly, right now, I feel like we could take on anyone and win. And I mean anyone. Exactly. Oh, I wouldn't want to be in Xenos' boots. Not with the likes of us coming to get him. Right, I'd best get back to the residential district. Thancred and the Resistance forces are waiting.
It is time we join the main host. Kryl, in light of your recent ordeal, might I suggest that you remain with the rearguard for now?
Oh, if you insist. Just this once.
All right, so I'll try to give the shortest of recaps without going into specifics. The main storyline of the Stormblood expansion is there's a resistance movement here in this region against the Empire, and that's the short version. And so the last thing that we did was we had a giant battle with them. We fended them off. We destroyed a cannon that they were operating, and then we took their general that they were talking about, Fordola, into custody. And they were just talking about how Fordola had been experimented on and given artificial or mechanical abilities that allowed her access to an ability in the game they call the Echo. And I won't go too much into detail on that, but your main character possesses the Echo. And so it allows you, like, the way it's manifested for my character is that sometimes I'll interact with the character or see something, and I'll get like a premonition, like I'll see something that could happen in the future, or I'll see something that's already happened in the past, or something like that. And so what they were saying was it seemed like she had the ability to basically already know or predict what her opponent's moves would be in battle. So they're like, that's kind of scary if they figure out an artificial way to give people that power, because it's something that very few people in this world are supposed to possess. And I think up to this point in the story, your character, obviously the other player characters in the game all have it, but canonically your character has it, as well as I think one group of villains that we've seen so far that I won't spoil, but that's it. So it's a really rare power. And we're actually getting what I believe is near the tail end of the base part of this expansion, so we're gearing up to go fight the big bad. If I may, General, there's aught and Mister, that's us, and I can do to assist with final preparations. Oh, is there aught? I'm glad you asked. Pippin informed me moments ago that all forces are in position and we're ready to commence the assault. Naught remains but to notify the commanders. If you've no objections, I shall be glad to have you do the honors, Mister. You were instrumental in the success of Operation Archon. You helped bring an end to the Dragon Song War. You are a hero to the people and a symbol of hope. Some might judge it an empty gesture, or worse, a waste of your talents, but I know it would mean much to everyone here. So they're going to have us do the thing. We're around talking to everybody. And we're actually talking to the leaders of the different nations. So this guy's the leader of Ishgard. Just gonna skip through that. Emmerich played a major role in Heavensward. He's a really cool character. Heavensward is a fantastic expansion, dealing with a war between the humanity and dragons. Kanasena is the leader of Gridania. And Merlwib is the leader of Limsa. Let's see. So I mentioned this in passing to some people today, but like I said just a couple minutes ago, I had a lot of really good food today. We ended up having 2 different meals out, and I haven't eaten out in a while. But I ended up going to the Flying Elbow for lunch, and then I ended up going to Mojitos for dinner. And I tried to make some somewhat conscious choices. I've been trying to eat better, sleep better, exercise a little bit, drink enough water. I was really good at that until my first kid was born. And then I maintained it after she was born, and then things went to crap in a handbasket when COVID hit. And so I'm now just finally starting to take that seriously, and I'm feeling a lot better, like mentally, physically, like anyway. But today was the first day that I kind of like fell off the wagon, so to speak, because I ate a bunch of crap when we went out to eat. And I did okay the first time, but the second time I just kind of indulged and ate and whatever, which, you know, one day is not going to kill you. But after I came home, like, I felt like I was going to have to roll down these stairs to get down to my computer. Like, I just felt like the most uncomfortable, like, blob. I was so uncomfortable. I thought it was just, like I said, I was reading bedtime stories to my kids, and we all kind of go into my youngest daughter's room, and we sit in the rocker or on the floor and read stories and get ready for bedtime. And instead of like sitting in the rocking chair like I normally do, like I was like sprawled out on the floor, like, oh yeah, honey, I'll read this story to you, bring it here. And I just thought like I was gonna die. So I'm hoping that I feel better tomorrow and can like shake that off. But yeah, that was kind of my excitement for today. Let's see. It's done then. Thank you, mister, for humoring an old bull. He's referring to himself. Maelstrom, Adra, and Ishgardian forces in position. Resistance forces in Alamiga are ready and await our signal. Left to do with the deed itself. Are they going to send me towards that dungeon? Like a big dungeon right away? Because if they do, and they might. Why can't I wear that? Oh, because I unlocked... Well, I unlocked all those classes. Oh, it's because I have Sage, and Sage is level 70. And this is me no dungeon. I don't know if I'm ready for it. Cause it's been weeks since I played. There's the level up. Do I have my next access to my next Reaper quest? I don't know if that's a Reaper quest or not. I think it is. All right, well, let's do this first. But we haven't had done any combat tonight. Oh, we do have a side quest we have to pick up too. Again, these ones usually, a plus means it always unlocks something else. And usually for these zones, what that means is it unlocks an ether current, which will allow us to fly in this zone once we collect them all. So I leave most of the side quests alone because, again, the game peppers you with so many quests that, one, take a ton of time, and two, you don't have to do. Like, I was supposed to end this expansion at level 70, and I'm already level 74. And so all I've done is dungeons and main storyline stuff. And so I only do main story and the plus, some of the plus icons for the side quests. So speak with the flame agent. Where are they at? Okay, they're way out there. Oh, that means my chocobo is smaller too. Yeah, that's cute. I like that. That's another form of expression too, right? Look at that. The chocobo has its own set of armor, and so I have the black mage barding for my chocobo. So my black mage, or my chocobo, looks like a black mage. I'm gonna pause here for a second and repair my gear, and then we'll be back on our way. Does this give me an ether current? It sure does. Oh, and there's another one I missed. I'm gonna have to hop off my mount again. I was used to my character being so tall that most NPCs like looked up to interact with me, and now they're all looking way down at me. Okay. This is good. I'll go out here and do some quests here. Some more low stake stuff. My bearings straight. We're gonna ignore this fate quest. We don't need to do it. Here first. We can't currently fly yet. Yeah, I think it was, you know, obviously, like I was saying in the cutscene, the game's not going to acknowledge it. But obviously, I went and like changed my race and gender, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, hey look, it's Mr. Sticks. Oh, look cool, he's awesome." It's like, and now they do change the pronoun when you change gender. So they're like, "Oh yeah, she's the greatest warrior we've ever known, and we've known her for all these adventures now, and she's so strong and wonderful and awesome and cool." And it's like, but I went from being this tall with black hair to this tall with green hair. These quests are almost never interesting story-wise. I always skip through the text box. But I try to do whatever it is. Slay the zoo that's nestling. Ooh, that's kind of a cool enemy. Oh, bad. Do I have to dive? It says it's below. What's the button to dive? I don't remember. There it is. Control space. Oh my gosh. Here's my dark, deep water phobia coming back again. I swear, if the game wanted to troll me by like having a giant eel come out of the wall, I'd be done. I would literally like have to stop and close the stream right there. Can I sprint underwater? Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's making much of a difference, though. That kind of freaked me out for a second. What the? Okay. All right. That's just scenery. We're cool. Everybody chill. Saw you getting riled up, chat. Just calm down. Anybody watching any GDQ runs, games done quick runs right now? I always have it up in the background, but obviously I don't have it up right now while I'm streaming. And honestly, like I've been trying to tune in and watch runs, and then I keep forgetting that it's happening. And then Laura will be like, hey, like, are you gonna watch GDQ? And I'm like, oh, I forgot it was on. I watched part of a Pokemon Yellow run when I got home tonight. That was pretty interesting. I always like watching Pokemon speedruns. And I, of course, love the cause. Raising money for charity is fantastic. Where do I go now? I think I can surface now. Would I be faster mounted? I think so. And like I said in the Discord, every time GDQ comes around, I'll get really into it. I'll watch some speedruns of some cool games, and then I'll be like, yeah, I could do that. I could totally do that. And then I'll like, what game would I pick? And so I'll go like pick like a simple, small, short, old game that I love. And then I'll play it for like 20, 30 minutes and be like, yeah, nope, I don't have the time for this. I'm not gonna dedicate myself to this. And that's not a knock on the people that do. I think it's amazing. And one of the other things I wonder too, like one of my favorite commentary people at the event, he's a guy named Spike Vegeta is what he goes by, and he runs. I've seen him run Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and I've seen him run some of the Kingdom Hearts games. But the dude has really taken a forefront in the GDQ stuff, and he does like the couch commentary for so many different games. And every single game that I watch him do, he's like, oh, well, now the runner's going to go do this thing because it does this and blah, 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 blah. And like, how do you have that vast and deep of a knowledge of basically every game that you're going to do? And so what I wonder is, like, once somebody gets into the ecosystem of speedrunning and they really break down their first game or get good at doing it with their games, I wonder if they're just able to like pick up on and learn and remember some of the things that the other people do in their games. And I'm not saying he could like execute it in all these other games, but he can explain it to the audience in a way that's like, oh yeah, okay, sure, that makes a lot of sense. Like I watched him do, I think he was doing the commentary for the Super Mario Galaxy 2 race that was happening the other day. I think that was last night, and I watched a couple minutes of that, and he was like, well, dude, he's gonna do this skip here, and this skip saves about 35 seconds, and it's really hard to pull off, and here's what you do. And I was like, wow. And he does that for so many different games. But that's what I love about those events too. Obviously the cause is good, but just hearing the people talk and break down what they're doing while they're doing it is so fascinating to me. Hey, we're gonna get to fight something. Are we ready? I'm not ready. I don't know any of my buttons anymore. I know my single target is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but beyond that, there's some other things I don't remember. Those are AoE. I think you do this to increase your soul gauge to start. It doesn't matter. Oh, I'm getting hit right now. Cool. Cloud monster. That's right. That's right. All right. It's coming. It's coming back. I love the way Reaper plays. And you guys chose this class for me. That was a good move. I was a little disappointed to not be going with a healer, because that would have given faster Q times and would have been a different archetype than what I'm used to. But I love Reaper and melee DPS in general. For years, I played a undead rogue in World of Warcraft. I shouldn't say years, but that was the character I played for the longest. Okay, before we go turn this quest in, what's the next closest one? Cool, we're gonna go that way, and we are just gonna YOLO it and jump right off the cliff, because in Final Fantasy XIV, this will not kill me. It will take me down to 1. Which means all it's gonna take is 1 enemy to get too close to me, and I'm screwed. Although, I don't know if I can get over there. Go like that? I hope not. Are you telling me it would have been smarter to stay up there? I hope not. Did I just pull a stupid? I know this is bullcrap and it's not true, but because my chocobo is smaller, it's taking more frequent strides, and so it feels like I'm moving faster. That little guy is really having to keep up. Same thing with the Lalafells. Like, if I unmount real quick, they're already hoofing it. Not huffing it. Oh my god. Hoofing it. And then if I sprint, then they're like really going. I love their run animation. They were just really hauling ass. That anime. I woke up late sprinting to get to the bus before it leaves. Walk, run. Love it. Okay. Did I go the right way? So we got 20 seconds on Stream Raiders. We'll pop it the second that it's ready. I just want to make sure I'm not going to get killed when I do it. So let me move this way a little bit. And then once this enemy is no longer aggroed to me, then we will do Stream Raiders. There it is. Okay. Let's get the battle music to stop. See if we can hide right here. We should be fine. I'm worried about that. But I'll be able to hear the game audio when we flip over. So if I get ganged up on while we're at Stream Raiders, we'll take care of it. And this will be the last Stream Raider battle for tonight. Just so you're aware. So if anybody's tuning in just to play Stream Raiders, this will be the last fight for this evening. What do we end up with? We ended up with thermal vents. A bubbling sulfur pool which spews forth deadly fumes. All units nearby take damage from the fumes, which also enrage nearby dinosaurs, increasing their damage and attack speed. Did it spawn any dinosaurs? I don't think it spawned any dinosaurs. What's about this one? Bubbling magma chambers set for eruption. Destroying this vent causes it to explode, damaging enemies and allies. If it is not destroyed within 30 seconds, it will erupt and explode with an increased radius. Okay, did we end up going with a bunch of ranged units? No. Maybe. No. Alright, whatever. I trust this. This looks good. We're gonna roll with it. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, they all went left. They're going to blow that up before it explodes. That's probably smart. They're going to kill them? Nope. Oh no, our party's split. You never split the party. Although this thing can't actually attack them from here. Never mind. Go, little archers, go. I don't know if we got really lucky with what enemies spawned in, or if it was always going to be like that. Awesome. This time we're going to give this to Filthy Casual and Filthy Casual. Because I thought I gave Timmy the money last time, or the reward last time. If I didn't and I skipped you, Timmy, I'm sorry. I'll get you next time. Let me know if I betrayed you. But I thought we've done 3 of these tonight. I gave one to JJ, and one to you, and one to... Oh, no, I don't know if I did. Next time we'll do this one. But we're going to end the stream here in 15 minutes. So that's not quite enough time for Stream Raiders. So if you've been tuning in for Stream Raiders, I appreciate it. But that is going to be the last Stream Raiders battle for this evening. We will go ahead and upgrade our army real quick. Which one can I upgrade? Oh, I can unlock the vampire. And then actually, let me go to the shop real quick. I can see if there's any shinobis. If I don't have a character at all, but I buy enough of their scrolls, do I just unlock the character? I think I do. Let's see. Let's upgrade our rogue. And our archer. Sure. And I'm gonna buy this to see if I can actually get the class. No, I can upgrade the archer. Rogues went away. Not Rogue One. Oh, I can unlock the Shinobi. Cool. An assassin that teleports and attacks a nearby range or support enemy. Becomes untargetable with no enemies nearby. That's cool. I like that. I don't have any captain spells yet, do I? Nope, I don't. Okay, that's going to be it for Stream Raiders. I sent you the money. Good, I'm glad I sent you the money. 350. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close Stream Raiders. And we'll finish out Final Fantasy. So if you were in for Stream Raiders, I appreciate it so much. If you want to stick around for the next 15 minutes or so, then that would be great too. So, let's keep doing this here. I saw some pre-release footage, or not pre-release footage, pre-release coverage about the Last of Us TV show popping up on HBO this weekend. I think it comes out Sunday. And the buzz I saw was pretty darn good. They were saying it was kind of like the next show for you to binge, that it was very close to the source material, which is no surprise because Neil Druckmann, one of the lead developers and I think I think he was the director of Last of Us, was involved with the project. Season 1 of the show focuses on Last of Us Part 1. I don't know how much of it will cover, but very cool. What am I doing here? Right to rest. Defeat specters. So I'm looking for ghosts? I haven't seen any ghosts yet. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Come on out here. I don't want to attack the fire sprites because I don't think they're related to the ghosts. Come on. There's one. Ooh, you look cool. Do I have a ranged attack that will pull you to me? I do, but I don't remember what button it is. G? G. I don't need to, though, because whatever was next, you just left. So this. And 1, 2, 3. Gotta build up energy. Oh, I can teleport back now. Watch this. Yeah, that's cool. I love that. And then when I teleport, I get a free cast of my ranged ability. I forgot about that. God, that's cool. That's really good in like raid fights. Like if I need to like teleport back to dodge out of a big ability, I can do that, and then I can teleport right back. Wait a minute. Are the okay, the other specters over here? But yeah, I don't think we have. Actually, I think we do have access to HBO Max right now. I'll have to ask my wife. If we do, I'm probably gonna try and watch it. I'm not huge into TV, but every once in a while a show will strike me, and I think this one seems interesting. Plus, it's got Pedro Pascal. It's got oh god, what's her name? Bella Ramsey in it. Like it's gonna be good stuff. She played what was her name? She was in Game of Thrones as the leader of the Bear House. I can't remember what it was called. Up there in the north with the Starks. She was badass in that show. She was like a child lord. Sorry, my Game of Thrones knowledge is pretty spotty now. I've tried to erase it from my brain. I've heard House of the Dragon's pretty exceptional as well, though, and I haven't seen any of that yet. Where's the last specter? There's the ghost. Creepy, spooky ghost. That enemy does look pretty cool. Okay. That quest is done. Any other quests we need to do? All right, that one done. They're all done. So then we're just going to do this. Fast travel back. Turn them all in. And then what I'll probably do is I'll go grab the Reaper quest, because I think I do have a Reaper quest. And then we will kind of wind things down shortly after that. I'm going to end right on time. Like I said, I'm trying to do better and maintain a better sleep schedule. And so ending right at 11 so I can put my bones in bed. Zap. Get those stubby legs going. Gotta go check the mail. Hey, Dragoon, they have to be. The wind-up doll I have next to me is only like half my height. Hello, this is my child, Onion Knight. He is precious. He is very precious to me. If you touch him, I will kill you. Don't speak to me or my son ever again. Okay, we did all those. What town is this in? Is it in Olda? Yeah, it is. So, I don't think we're going to finish the Reaper quest, but we will at least start it. And then one of the things I said near the end of last stream was that we had invitational season coming up for esports. And I thought, I said kind of like, that might screw with my ability to stream. But actually, it worked out really well. We're competing 6 nights out of 7, which is gross, and I'll talk more about that next week. But we managed to get Mondays off in terms of competition. We have practice that day now, but no competition. And I also got Wednesdays off. And so I didn't do that because of streaming, but it just worked out. So it still kind of depends if oh shoot, I need to get the other screen. It still kind of depends if that might just completely wipe me for the day anyway, because those weeks are gonna be long. But I will try to do my best to maintain my stream schedule and be here for Mondays and Wednesdays for those next 2 weeks. We will see. If I am not going to stream, I will try to post it on Discord and in other places so that you guys know. But I will try to keep you in the loop. And pretty soon here, I'm going to keep Final Fantasy XIV going. I think what I might do is stream that one of the 2 nights a week. And then the other night, I'm going to use that. I grabbed the wrong damn quest. The other night, I might do something related to one of my classes that I'm teaching this spring, or do some more game study stuff because I am reteaching game studies this fall, spring. Where do I need to go? Okay, go this way. And then this way. Yeah, that's right. The Reaper stuff, there's like this lady in a little hideaway over here. I think I talked to this person to get inside. I like to think now that I've changed to a female character that my first name Mr. doesn't mean like Mr. as in like Mr. or Mrs. It's like Mr. like rain. There you go. I'm not Mr. I'm Mr. I was really not impressed with the first Reaper quest, and then I saw a comment online that said the Reaper storyline starts off as being one of the weakest and ends as one of the strongest. So I'm gonna let this cutscene play, and I'm actually gonna try to pay attention to it. And I'll narrate it if it's not voiced. Most of these are, though, I believe. This one's not. Cool. Everyone here? Good. Arnegus, you've met. No further Chimera-related incidents. I'll be happy to hear. The overly chipper lass over there is Herman. Make your acquaintances. As you know, our quarry is a void scent, and he goes by the name Orcus. He's eluded the best, but these two are a step above that. Tell us what you found. By your will, boss, I asked around about unsolved murders and disappearances, seeing if any involved someone matching the description you provided. There's as many missing people as there are grains of sand, and no shortage of tragedies either. One, however, stood out among the rest. A woodcutter in the black shroud disappeared without a trace. No body, no belongings, nothing. An odd enough occurrence by itself. The sightings of a stranger with skin pale as snow near his last known whereabouts piqued our interest. That's a promising start, but those woods are crawling with bandits and brigands of all sorts. Dusk wights and keepers are said to come in ghostly hues. Are we sure this man ain't one of them? As sure as I've ever been, boss. Not many bandits have eyes the color of blood. It's a match too close to ignore. Our eyes kind of look like the color of blood. I can't gainsay that. We have a lead. If I may, boss, are you sure we need the help of this outsider? How much trouble could one void sent be? Herman, she's standing right there, for God's sake! Show some respect, woman! No, she's right. I've always told you to turn a wary eye to those outside the family. She's just doing her due diligence. But trust me when I say we need every advantage we can afford. I made the mistake of misjudging Orcus' strength before, and for my hubris, my family, my flesh and blood family was slain. All of them. Was planning on holding that back a bit longer, but 'twas before the Lemures. I swore two things. I'd repay that suffering 1,000-fold, and I'd never let that bastard take anything from me again. I mean to keep my vow, and I trust I can count on you to help. Have to ask twice, boss. Your wounds are our wounds, even the ones that become scars. We'll see your vengeance rot. All these years I've scraped to make a place for us. I've looked forward to the day he'd pay his dues. And it ain't just for me that we have to hunt him down either. He's a blight on Eorzea itself, and the longer we let it fester, the more suffering it'll spread. We need to corner him now, while we have the chance. Are you ready, mister? You know those woods as well as any of us, and we'll need your experience if we hope to be back before supper. And we want to be back before supper. Kind of view the Lalafells as gnomes, but also as the hobbitses of the world. They want to be back before dinner and then second dinner. All right, let's get to it then. Herman, I want you here in Olda, keeping your ear to the ground for any news of Orcus' movements. Arnegus, you'll lead us to this where this woodcutter disappeared. By your will, boss, that'd be the central shroud, so our best route would be to set off from Bent Branch. Or just teleport. This will probably be where we end. Definitely, we're 1 minute before 11. So, we're in this town. I'll stand right here looking at this character so I remember what I'm doing next time I play. And we're going to go ahead and wind things down. So I really appreciate you guys coming in, tuning in, helping me create this character. Again, do I personally relate to her appearance at all? No, but I think she looks cool. So if you guys were going to stick me with playing a Lalafell, we at least made her look cool. I think it's kind of funny and silly how she kind of is this little Reaper character, but I think there's something cool about it. It's definitely a change of pace and scenery from what I'm used to. That's cool. I like that. And I'm excited to get into some more adventures with this character. So I'm down for it. So thank you guys for subbing to the channel. Thank you for following the channel. Thank you for letting this wonderful goal happen. Now I got to come up with my next sub goal. And honestly, guys, I'm not sure how to do it because my sub count got way inflated with the donations, the charity raid, and now they're gonna fall off, which is fine. But I don't know when or how to set my next goal because I'm like, well, do I set it at 10 again? Because right now I'm sitting technically at 30 or 40 subs. Eventually it's just gonna plummet and they'll go back to 5 or 7, I think is what it was. So I don't know. Anyway, that's a problem for later. I will be back on Monday to stream once again. And after that, we'll kind of see how things go with the invitational season. But I'm planning on being back on Monday. Monday, we will be playing Final Fantasy XIV again, I think. I may change that to something else, but that's the plan for right now. So I'm going to flip over to my end screen here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for those that participated in Stream Raiders. Helped us make some progress. We'll come back and finish that map, hopefully, on Monday evening. Take care of each other, and I will see you all very soon.